Hey guys, we got another week of cyber breaches and God knows what else that's happened in the cyber world. I know there's a bunch of stuff going on. We still don't have a name for the group, guys. We got to pick something, or maybe somebody out there will actually come up with a name for us. We had Cybertalk for a long time. We could stick with that, or if you got something better, let's go for some. Go for get my beagles on screen. Anyway.
It's never beagles. Never beagles.
Anyway, it's nice. It's not. Hey, Matt, it's nice to see that you're actually not in your car this week, and looks like you got nice.
Very nice to not have a steering wheel in my lap.
I'll be real. I thought he lived in his car.
Sometimes I think we live on a plane.
That's true.
Anyway, welcome, Carl.
Hey, welcome, Bob.
And Mr. Chris, what are we going to do today?
Oh, we're going to have some fun.
Uh-oh.
Because all of this is fun, right?
Absolutely.
So earlier in the week, I shared an article, and let's just break it down. Duke researchers, they contacted a dozen data brokers in the United States, and a data broker is just what it sounds like. They collect information on consumers, on people. It's a data privacy question I think all of us have, because our information is everywhere, and when these people combine that information, they can sell it and they make money. It's billions of dollars a year for data brokers. The thing is, this specific study was about buying information on military members, current members, and veterans.
Mm.
USAA?
I don't think. Let's hope not. Navy Federal Credit Union instead. I'm sorry.
Okay.
No. But so they went to these data brokers, and there were some that refused to sell them the data. Which, I mean, I guess a data broker has ethics.
Some, apparently.
It's questionable.
Could
but
happen.
They were able to actually get sensitive information for as little as 12 cents per record when buying thousands of records. And the price could go as low as a penny if they bought enough. And to make it worse is they went and they registered a .asia domain that was linked to a Singaporean IP address, and they still sold it to them.
At a penny record.
Yeah. Well, I think they paid 12 cents. They could have got it cheap to penny record if they would have bought like a massive amount. So they were able to actually geofence this around Washington, D.C., Fort Bragg, and Fort A.P. Hill and Quantico. So mostly around the D.C. area, down into Fort Bragg, which is North Carolina.
Chris, for us lay people, what does the geofence mean?
Geofence just means in that geographic region, right? Okay. So they were able to go down to a specific region to where they wanted to find these military members or veterans and get information on them.
Wow.
Excellent.
This was with the Singaporean IP. So it wasn't even in the United States where they were able to do this in this .asia domain. And they just were sold to. Like some data brokers, they wouldn't do it, but like others did. And it reminded me at that point of something similar that happened that came out last year, about a year ago, a little bit over a year ago. There's this health system called Advocate Aurora Health. They were in Wisconsin, Illinois, and they had leaked the information for 3 million patients because they decided to put a Meta or a Facebook pixel on their website for my chart. So where you log in to get all your health, to see your updated charts, your prescriptions, all your information. Yeah, they put it on there and then leaked the information. And that included like IP addresses, all of the schedules, the medical provider information, the type of appointment or procedure that people were getting.
Wow.
Their insurance information.
Wow.
Like,
well, can I point out
what type of damage could that do if somebody uses that? What type of damage could you be looking at?
We're basically talking about if they know what procedure you had, they can put targeted marketing towards you. So they will sell that information. People will come and sell you certain things. So if you have an ailment of some sort, they can target you. We go back again to what Duke did with the military members. They can target them. Now, what if a foreign government? I want to bring this up. Matt. You used to work for an agency of some sort. How dangerous is it if that kind of information gets leaked to like a foreign entity?
Oh, extremely. I mean, they can choose who to target with it. It's just not good. That's really the only way to summarize it. It's just not good. That's not information. I mean, it's normally used for marketing information, but when they're capturing that kind of data and medical data,
What,
who knows how they could figure out who's where that might be important too.
Take it one step further, because if the bad guys have a list of known military personnel, they're going to have, yes, they got retired people, and they also have some active people in there probably.
Yep.
So now they could do targeted phishing campaigns to go after getting into their stuff. Yeah. Forget about the data. Mm-hmm. Forget about the data sales aspect of it. It's from just from a risk perspective. Anyone targeted can be compromised. We know that.
And I thought even further. I thought like I'm going straight up spy stuff. What happens if they find really dirty stuff on somebody and they basically extort them?
Yeah, the compromise. There's been many cases of that happening in the past.
Yeah,
they've gotten family members to flip and get information out through not even the person that's directly there.
Yeah, so it really comes. So that brings up the question, and anybody can choose to answer this. Why do you think that as a country we don't have data privacy laws that really have any teeth to them?
We're kind of slow to act, as far as, I'm sorry, Bob.
And this is not to get too political, but this is going to be a political question because it has to.
It's kind of the nature. We are slow to enact laws in general, unless we get a panic and we see an example. Problem with these data brokers is they're invisible. Can you tell me the last time you saw somebody at a Chamber of Commerce who was a data broker, or you went online and said, hey, I can get, we don't even know who has our data. And now you're looking at a group of people who have probably much more information than they should ever have. And they're completely unregulated.
That's because we keep giving it to Facebook and Google to do whatever they want with.
Big lobby.
There are some websites that do track data brokers. I have a quick question though. How much lobbying money do you think is thrown for data brokers every year?
More than my lunch budget.
That's fair.
And I eat a lot, man.
Don't you just feel like the last number I saw through 2022, it was they'd spent $56 million in lobbying in 2022. And
the data broker lobbyist. Okay.
Yeah. So from 2020 to 2022, they spent over $143 million lobbying against privacy laws. So
most people don't care. That's the problem. You talk to the average person, they're like, they throw their hands up in the air and they don't care.
But they also then ask, like, is everything listening to me? Yeah. Yeah. They ask, is everything listening to me? Why am I getting marketed like this? Why am I getting targeted like this? And or in the sad case of these healthcare individuals, like now their information is just getting leaked and now they're getting targeted for medical stuff. That could go further. Has anybody looked at the California Consumer Protection Act?
Long time ago. I haven't looked at it recently.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's pretty aggressive though.
Yeah. Well, one of the coolest things they've done is they've passed something called the Delete Act. And that in 2026 is going to have a website where if you have information on California residents, you have to allow one click on, basically they have to delete all your data with one click. So you can go to this website. It's going to be hosted by, the California. This is where I don't memorize everything. The California Attorney General sets it up and it's run through the, California Privacy Protection Agency. A data broker will have 45 days to delete your data once you request it. So there's going to be a website you can go to if you're in California and you can request all your information from all data brokers be deleted because the data brokers have to register in the state of California. Bob, what do you think about this being a federal law?
Federal laws would be great because then we get one clearinghouse, but then people say, well, I'm not going to register for it. It goes back to just like the do not call database. Do not call database. People won't register because people are calling me because I'm on it. But my problem with putting some of these data deletion act like this together is the compliance pieces are going to be crazy because I was actually working with a client last week and I found 20,000 documents that were misfiled. They were sitting in personal scan folders instead of sitting in the actual client folders. So how does a business really prove that they deleted everything?
Well, this goes. We're gonna go really deep on that. Yeah. But in comparison, We talked about this a little bit before, but the California Consumer Protection Act really follows GDPR from Europe, right? So the thing is like in Europe, a lot of the changes that they've made, and for anybody that it stands for General Data Protection Regulation, it rules the European Union, and it's led to a lot of changes that have been beneficial for all of us. Facebook or Meta, whatever you want to call it, Google, they allow us to delete information that they've collected on us. That wasn't a case before GDPR. They forced these big companies to allow us to delete data. I think it needs to go further. I think the United States has to I think we're way behind on this.
Oh, sure.
As far as like, the EU. So my question would be, does anybody, and anybody could pick this up, do you see a problem with having a website that you could one click unregister from all data brokers that have information?
One little problem.
Sure.
I see technical.
How likely after we create this,
I would-
after we create this list, and if people start putting their data in so that they can say, please remove us, make sure that none of this data is sitting here, that data doesn't get hacked. I mean,
Well, it'll be.
I'm just talking about I'm for the idea. I'm just giving the everybody's concern. Yeah, I'm going to put something else in here, and now it's centralized, and that's going to be the number one target everybody's going to go after. People who definitely don't want to be known.
To Bob's point, it's like the do not call registry. That's run by the FTC. So there's a central database. You could think about it this way. You could have the federal government oversee it and have it specifically for each state. So the data could be stored in each state, protected by certain regulations, and make sure that they give each state, like CISA could be involved in this, maybe, right? Dictate how the data is protected, provide some level of federal funding for it, and then centralize it to each state. That way, if one database got hacked, you'd have the information for that state, but it wouldn't really affect everybody.
Yeah, but as a business owner, you're going to have to check all states.
Yeah,
you're going to need to have a clearinghouse,
and that's where the central registration would
say now we're creating the need for companies that aggregate that data. If you're a business that needs to clear it and look from multiple states, so I almost wonder, are we recreating a problem?
I don't.
Here.
Do you mean because your customers might have to delete data, or actually have a policy where they actually delete data for people who
no. So I'm thinking, let's say each state has its own database, right? But companies need to read data from multiple places. So I imagine we're going to have some other companies popping up saying, "Hey, we'll help you comply with this."
Yep.
They'll be like,
and their job is going to be to aggregate a lot of that.
Yeah, and that's where a central database for the entire United States would be better for that reason.
Yeah, I think it would need to be central. I don't want to get political, but I always get nervous about. I love the idea, but in action, it would have to be done right, or like Carl alluded to, it could be just as much of a problem. But we got to do something. I mean, we're
no, it's true. These guys are running around completely, without any accountability.
Remember for data brokers, they're collecting information on you. So in a registration situation, you're probably only putting your phone number, your address, and your name, which is mostly public record anyway. It's just that you're going in there and you're actually requesting it, and maybe you're putting an email address in. You're putting email addresses in that you want to be removed as well. So it's not like you're putting personal. Like it's not like you're putting like your social security number, driver's license, or anything.
Yeah, I was actually going down here. It's like, how do you identify all these people? Because, yes, you can just put name and address in there, I guess.
Yeah.
But
it's like the do not call, right? Like they're not asking you for your.
Right, but do not call is a little different because everyone it's all unique phone numbers. It's easy. Yeah. It's easy to classify it.
Sure.
How many Bob Mitchies are there in the world? Too many. So.
Yeah. Well, but you're still
we could use a unique identifier for each person, like the social security number that's not supposed to be used as an identifier.
Well, you can we go back to using NIC handles now. BM79.
Well, remember this is mostly for This is mostly for information that's leaked on a website. So you're not necessarily, if it's personal information, like the thing that this won't protect against would be the pixel problem, right? That happened at that hospital, but that's a HIPAA problem that they're going to have. So there are some data privacy that's protected under that. I mean, and I'm talking about just like data brokers in general.
That was a misconception.
Yeah. I'm talking about data brokers in general, like the way that they collect information on us. So like when we browse the web and stuff like that, and making it so that information we can have it removed. Because I mean, you guys probably get robocalls all the time, right?
Reset it.
Robocalls and robotexts.
Spam. You know,
I got an AI call this morning.
And they can build pretty good profiles on people by collecting that data and then running it. Their data warehouses.
Chris, getting back to what you said about the Google Pixel,
Sure.
There's somebody who, when they did it, there was somebody saying, "Hey, this is great for our marketing. We're going to be able to track this in-house."
Yep.
And you're saying, "Well, this can only happen in this one hospital." But think about it: if you're a finance, you're running a small financial firm, and you say, "Hey, let's do that when we'll put that pixel on our inboarding form or something else." This issue is not isolated to just the hospital. This is really a warning to any business not to do this.
And to that point, this could bring us up to a future topic. Maybe why configuration matters more than anything for security. In a technical sense, because it doesn't matter how secure, it doesn't matter what tools you put on something. You can rely on all the tools in the world. If the configuration is insecure or wrong in the first place, it's done. So take note. So we're gonna have different moderators every week. So take note on that, and somebody can run with that. I just gave a future topic, but going back to the data privacy, I think California's law is extremely good. I think the idea of a data broker, being able to unregister from data brokers and giving them 45 days before they get fined is phenomenal. I want to know. Yeah, I think from my perspective, I'm gonna reach out to the people here in Michigan. I want something like this in Michigan, but I think we can't have 50 different rules in the United States. We do have to look at GDPR. And does anybody have a comment on that? We think that there needs to be some level of federal regulation on these data brokers.
I think yes, and definitely, I think it's got to be standard across all the states because otherwise it becomes an impossible compliance measure for everybody else. So, I got to comply with New Jersey, I got to comply with Michigan, I got to comply with California. What is the rule? And let's just follow it. And
and I think this is a non-political issue. I think this is something that everybody can get behind. It doesn't matter what side of the spectrum you're on. This is your data. This is information about your family. Like this is something that needs to be handled overall. And unfortunately, when you're spending $143 million over 3 years in lobbying, we're probably gonna have to fight back a little bit on that and figure out where that is. But
that's when more people become educated.
They're buying
it. Then all of a sudden things change and people do turn down lobby money all the time. I mean, look at tobacco. Tobacco had a lot of money in there, and now,
have you guys ever tried to?
Is taking tobacco money.
Yeah,
that's fair. Have you ever tried to actually remove yourself from all the data brokers, like where you go to their website and actually fill out all the information to get your information deleted? Dude, it would take you like 2 days, and that's if you can find them all that your information is with. You have to individually go to each one. It's painstaking.
I just want everybody to contact me, man.
Everything about me is public. Does anybody else have anything to say on this data broker?
Anyway, the whole data broker topic is a huge amount of data that people are going to have to try and filter through. But we are out of time for today, Chris.
Let us know what you think about data brokers. I would send everything to Carl because he wants his life to be public, all of it. So I think sending direct messages to Carl and then letting him relay back is probably the move here. But yeah, future topics.
Have you hugged your data broker today?
Oh, jeez. If I don't dress up for Halloween, but now for Halloween I'm gonna be a data broker next year. We're gonna have some fun with this. All right.
That could be fun.
All right.
Anyway, guys, it was a good call. Everyone out there, if you can think of a good name for us, drop it where you're viewing this. And if you've got questions for a future topic, let's definitely jump on it. But there's no shortage of different cyber angles that can be approached.
Yeah.
And that's all I got for today.
Yeah. Have a good week. We'll